Alright, gird your ears. We're gonna pop this balloon. I'm sorry to all of the calligraphers. Okay. And then this is the one where he wants... Oh gosh. See how pretty that looks? It almost looks pink because of the red writing. Let's just jump right in because I didn't have time to make a full video intro. So I am making a traditional Japanese wheat starch glue, and usually the proportions are about 1 part wheat starch to 4 or 5 parts water. And this glue does take a little bit of time to make, so if you want to follow along, feel free and do that. But if you just wanted to use crafts glue and skip this step, it is also an option too. So the traditional recipe has you put it over the heat for 10 to 15 minutes. After the mixture gets thick and you continue cooking it, it almost starts going thinner again. And I did not have that much patience for it. I kept mine on for about 6 minutes, and yeah, and then I let it cool and we continue on. So I had made a couple of balloons before I started filming, and this is by far the cleanest way of getting glue on the twine. There were a couple of methods like poking a hole through a glue bottle and then, pulling the twine through that way, but then you'd have to poke a hole through your glue bottle. I'd say have a surface to work on. Make sure that you have some wet paper towels in case if you get glue on something and you want to wipe it off. And then just have patience with this one because it's going to be a little bit messy for this part. So having something physical helps. But I suppose you can also mark it. Okay. So just the areas that you want kind of open. It won't be exact, but at least you'll kind of see like, okay, these are the areas I want to leave open. And then, the mess begins. So try to put one here first. So you can see you're just wrapping it around and then leaving some space on the bottom. And sometimes it's okay if it doesn't cross exactly perfectly, because as it dries, you can also adjust it better, but right now it's quite wet. So okay, this is the one that I made a little earlier so that it would dry in time. And actually, what I thought we could also do is if I wanted that cylindrical shape, I thought you could potentially, before it fully dries, find another cylindrical shape that you like, pop this balloon, and then place it in there. And then that way we could get like kind of that lantern shape that I originally wanted. But anyways, gird your ears because we're gonna pop this balloon. Well, that did not work at all. Stop! Come on. Yeah, but has that ever happened before? That did not. Well, lovely. I think maybe, I don't know. It was like a pierced tire. That's kind of what happened. Very anticlimactic. Okay, so yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm quite actually happy with it. I feel like some places have like less glue, like I feel like this piece moves, but I like it a lot, actually. Okay. I'll grab something. So, you won't believe what I did. This may be a little over the top. I have seen people make the paper part of the lantern with everything from just plain tissue paper that you can get at stores, or like the tissue paper that comes with your clothing or something like that, to toilet paper. It seemed like that worked really well as well. I went to a craft store. It was like a very known craft store in East London, and they had all this different like kinds of paper. And when I left, they wrapped it up. It was very professional. Like when I told the lady, hey, I'm trying to make a lantern, she like treated me like a professional. She treated me like I was somebody that made paper lanterns. And so she started like talking to me about paper, and then different kinds of tissue paper first. And then she was like, oh, like before you leave, you might want to, I have this special paper. And I was like, oh, clearly didn't need it because this is just a crafts project. And she was like, I'm gonna show you a piece of, can you see this? Okay. She was like, they're not too expensive. So she showed me like washi paper. So the Japanese specifically make this paper out of mulberry leaves, and it is supposed to be strong but like thin so that you can see through it. And pretty much this is the type of paper that they will use for book restoration. So like if there are like tears, if there are cuts, if I don't know, like an insect has bit through paper, this is what they use for restoration. So I'm gonna go get my glue, and then we'll proceed on. I don't think it was wide enough, so I'll have this, and then I think whatever is left over here, we can just use the extra sheet for. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do this a little bit at a time because I've tried a couple methods. It hasn't always worked. So we'll do it a little bit at a time. Better. So I might try to do that. So let's see if So I think that's how we'll try to do it. Okay. This is the piece that I would need to just fill in. Me. I think that's enough. I have no idea. Okay. I should practice on a piece of paper first. Okay, so this next bit is going to be quite difficult for me. I'm not a calligrapher in the slightest. It's difficult because it's an art when they do calligraphy. It's about like the stroke and how hard you press, and certain places are thick, certain places are thin, and they always say it says a lot about a person in terms of like how you write. Like people can tell based on your calligraphy. So I picked a character. It's a little bit off here. I picked a character, Sho, which kind of signifies like life and long life and just being prosperous. And I thought what I would do here is I would like pick a spot. So I tried to put pencil over this. It doesn't really write as well, and I don't want to put pen because I'm worried that the ink is gonna maybe like soak in. So I kind of am going to need to do this very, very carefully. So I think it definitely needs to... How do you break this up? Should I just crunch it? Should I wet it? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, that seems good. But stroke order if you learn calligraphy or just Chinese writing in general is very important. So me going over it again and again, left and right, not good. But part of that's the paint, part of that is just that it's okay, quite lumpy. Hold on. Okay. Oh geez. Oh geez. Oh geez. See, I don't have enough ink by the time I get down there, and then it just looks bad. Among many reasons why it could look bad. Okay, let's just work on this bit there, and then last bit, and he goes down a little bit. All right, that's awful, but it's okay. Okay, so now we're gonna wait for this to dry, and then we're gonna do the final step. Just some good old tongue oil. Excited? So I figured that would be easier for when we paint it as well, and then for drying too. Okay, so I had to wait until the paint was all dry because I was worried about putting oil on the acrylic and pretty much having that come right off. So I'm gonna do everything else except the character first. Bit nervous everything's gonna come off, so. And that'll give it this kind of this yellowish color that these lanterns usually have, because the paper is obviously kind of this white, maybe slightly off-white color, but the tongue oil is what gives it that yellow glow. And I think you might need 2 coats of it, but let's go for one first and see how it cures. So tongue oil is known to have waterproof properties. So that's why you would paint it on things like, you know, like the paper umbrellas. It keeps things waterproof. Good. Okay, so this is after 12 hours of curing. Some of the oil did drip, which was nice for my table. I read online that tongue oil is one of the slower oils to cure, so 12 hours a day is probably, well, it's definitely not enough. It'll take a good couple days. If not, I think some people even said like a month. So we don't have that kind of time, so that's okay. We'll put it into play now. But I don't know if you can see it. The oil has made the paper even more translucent. I don't think that you can see it, but compared to before, and I can see it, it's made it even more see-through.
This is kind of like a mistake lantern that I made before. So this is white, and then you can see actually like a really pretty yellow tinge to that. So, oh, that's quite pretty. Let's see how pretty that looks. It almost looks pink because of the red writing. Yeah, I had a candle and I was just going to put it over some metal so that in case if it burns, but the oil hasn't cured. I mean, it's still dripping a bit, so I was not going to play with fire like that. So at home, use an LED, use a light instead, because I have not tested how flammable or not these are. So I imagine they are very, especially if you don't let them cure. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this balloon lantern making activity, and that you enjoyed watching it. I thought it was going to be like a nice little alternative activity to making mooncakes, since we had already done so for so many years. So happy Mid-Autumn Festival to everyone watching, and I will see you all again next time, okay? All right.